Q95. And good evening to our legion of fans around the world, of course, especially in Dominica. I know you're hooked under the big station. I know some guys are ready for quite some time and just waiting to hear their favorite program. It's really almost amazing to see, but when you go around, people tell you they listen to sports rap for various reasons. But the thing is this, I think what my saying so, this must be one of the most listened to program around going around.
Well, also in fact, to me, last Thursday's program, from the reaction of people, must be one of the best programs we ever had. People were calling me up to Friday. Well, as you say, a lot of people don't listen for the sports. They listen for what is not sports. A lot of people, a lot of ladies in particular, like that's what they listen for. Yeah. So, in fact, some people say they get information here they don't get anywhere. Yeah.
Well, we don't exactly call our program a variety program. Still, if there are one or two things happening in the world, I don't see why you can't mention it. Even though it's a sports program, well. And something happens, or something, big news. Mm-hmm. I don't see why you can't just mention it.
Because there are big news now. You're hearing about a consultation,
yeah,
and then you hear a man who is a doctor is the person that is going to be in charge of that. A doctor, If that Daru is not the guy, they assign him to this electoral
former cabinet minister.
He's given a job.
Yes.
But as Thompson here with us,
it's like you go to a cricket match and you know who the umpires are.
Yeah.
And suddenly the umpires give him the new ball to bowl for the opposing side. That's how it is.
Yeah, because
the umpire just takes his coat off, puts his whites, and bowls the new ball against him.
What would be interesting to find out, is whether that has ever happened in any other Caribbean country. That this sort of cocoa macaca would call it, to use a local language, where people do this thing. And they will use that to legitimize their nonsense. They will say, okay, you see, we gave them everything, and then they'll go in the house and do their rubbish. And people must stand up to that.
This thing
people must stand up.
I think it's the final straw. Somehow has to be.
Well, exactly.
If you go beyond that and continuing that, that's the end of Dominica.
Yeah, because not only that, you put it in the, if you're going to have a consultation, let's have it somewhere where people can participate. But when you go to
President's house,
which I'm sure
chaired by a lot of security, government.
A lot of security. And also it brings me back to the Electoral Commission.
Sebastian, what's the theme?
Yes, I think we have Mr.
Lobby. Hey,
yeah, what is the theme of the consultation?
I do not know. Thompson's there, he'll probably tell us when he comes to speak. But what I am saying, to me, the representatives from the opposition, to me, they're virtually redundant. There's nothing you can do. In fact, the Electoral Commission themselves, they should be knowing it should be disbanded because they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing, and it's really sickening what's happening in Dominican. And I'm listening to several today, and I pity them here, and Donnie and Daryl Bob.
But you're so self-contradictory things you're saying.
Exactly.
My God, I couldn't believe it.
So you wonder, man, what is really going on?
I listened earlier to Matt. It was what they call it.
Talk on the block.
Talk on the block, and you had Byron followed by Judge Andre.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know the meaning of the word contrast, you don't know what a contrast means. The very opposite. Then
when you listen to both of them,
Byron and here Judge Andre, that's a striking example of a sheer contrast. Did you hear them?
I didn't.
One coming after the other.
To be honest, I don't want to listen to. I don't listen to Byron. Also, to be honest,
Byron was mumbling.
I don't want to hear
I
Byron.
couldn't understand a word he was saying. You could see there was no conviction in what he was saying. You can know if a person has conviction, passion. He just going through the motion. And then when Andre came, there's such a sharp difference. That's what a contrast means.
I don't know why anybody would want to listen to Byron anyhow. I don't know why anybody. I don't listen to the guy, so I didn't hear what he said because I'm still hearing he say that he did his best or some foolishness like that.
Boy, this is ridiculous. I don't see how they can patch up what Byron has done. Man. It's like you build a house, back foundation, anything wrong, and you see one people come and fix that house. You're joking, man. I think.
But I like what you said
subtle.
about the captain,
Yeah.
the umpire. coming to
Umpire
bowl.
suddenly, umpire's big coat suddenly takes the new ball. Hey, the umpire is a fast bowler, and he's fast like hell, and he's bowling my team. The umpire is blowing me out, and you tell me I'm playing a cricket match.
Oh, man.
Yeah? No law, nothing. So that was very true.
But why all these things? That's my point. Why should
Why all that?
All that. A simple thing you need, like re-registration, voters ID card, the voters list, cleanse it. What is the big thing about that?
In fact, I agree because I made that point at the consultation. I was saying that in all the other countries, they've had those reforms, and you never heard a word about
nothing.
It's something. It's almost routine in those countries, but for us, it's a big deal. It's a big
but the consequences could mean a complete difference.
Well, I agree, but what
the consequences?
No, but if you like West Indies in the days was strong, and no matter where they go, they'll beat anybody. They didn't care. If you say you're strong. Let us go.
Level playing field, roll the pitch,
the issue was a level playing field.
That's all. So let's have a proper match. Because you say you're strong, you powerful, you this. Let us go and play the game.
That should be a no-brainer.
You're looking for, as you say, you want the umpire on the side.
For you.
You want the field, even your 12th man probably for them too. I mean, this thing. And people must not sit down and accept this nonsense. This thing has happened nowhere in the Caribbean. I've not heard it happen anywhere. And Dominican people, that just cannot go on.
It's a long time now. It's about how many years? 15 years now?
Yeah,
or maybe more.
2007, I think.
2009 election.
That was 14 years. 14 years.
A simple thing, Why should, and you have heard it happen nowhere in the Caribbean. You hear people have the election. Everything.
And they had all of that in Jamaica. They did recently, St. Vincent,
everywhere. Yeah. But Dominica, you have to go through all sorts of wasting money, wasting people's time, paying people all over the place to help their grandchildren to go to college, like the guy with Byron. All that nonsense. Man, I mean, this is just wrong. I listened to
Byron. I don't couldn't understand one word you're saying.
Well, I didn't listen. I would never listen to him, honestly. I never ever listen to that guy. I don't listen to him at all.
Mr.
Low Black,
very humorous mode today, Lobi.
But I also have to laugh.
A Byron fanboy. You're Byron.
Whenever I hear the name Byron, you have to run.
No, but too many trying to patch up Byron.
Yes.
Patch him up.
Agree with you.
Byron is a disgrace to Dominica that should be known.
And to himself too.
And to himself. Forever and ever and ever. As a serious, the whole country.
And he still says he did his best. To me, I heard somebody say he said that.
No, he said other countries should follow Dominica.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, as for good practice, that was the best and ideal, holding up one as the optimum to get, man. Dominica should be the example then. No, it's sickening.
And then you hear a man who was a minister for 10 years. He's no longer a minister, but he's given a job to deal with that. A man who's supposed to be a doctor. Why you have? I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand that, honestly.
Consultation.
Consultation. How many of them, Thompson, are they going to have?
They have several. I think the first one is with the press and so on, legal, and then there's one with the political parties. Since they're doing it in segments, and then they will have with the general different segments.
What's the theme?
Election reform.
Electoral reform.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. But what I would like to know, okay, let us suppose most people come and their things, the things should be changed. Will they ever take it on board?
Take it on board. That's a big question.
And as I say, I don't think it's a show to come and give the impression out there that something was done, and then when anybody come and talk, say, "Oh, we had this, we had that." Yeah. To me, that is just.
But that is where the proof is going to be, whether or not they take on the really legitimate concerns of everybody, and we've had some of those concerns we've made very clear. In terms of
this thing is really mind-boggling. I can't believe this is a fact. Oh, well.
Gentlemen, what's the latest with the gardens, Sebastian, Botanic Garden?
Well, Ozzy grew up right around there, so Ozzy can answer that.
I don't know whether I was dreaming of something, Lobby, but as though I saw something. I think I might have been dreaming. So pardon me. I think I must have been dreaming. I saw a big sign. Trespassers are not allowed. No trespassers. I said, what? Botanic Gardens? So that's what I believe. So I think that was a dream. It had to be a dream. Is that really true?
No, but also,
it's a dream.
I have seen golf courses around the world, and the entire gardens is probably too small for a real golf course, Yes. So I don't understand if that is really true.
It's probably mini
golf course.
Yeah,
but who would take a decision like that? Who was it? Well, of course, there was no bidding, nothing. One person that decided, okay, you take that. How much money? Who valued the amount of land that was taken? Who
got paid for it?
Who got paid?
Did the money go to the treasury?
Yeah.
To me, that was beyond the pale. It cannot be. It's impossible.
Gentlemen,
the gardens cannot be in that nonsense. It's impossible.
Our parrots. Who made the decision? Where the parrots gone?
But why? But okay, you could go Point Wrong, and build a nice golf course down there. Why would you want to come in the gardens where most of us, even before you all...
But you know the garden is prime time before the Hurricane David.
When I played cricket there. You
played there, yes.
Yes, yeah.
But I know the garden from the 1940s and 50s.
Yeah, right.
It was like a promenade.
I mean, when you have tournaments there, I was promenade. I mean, people, to go to the garden on Sunday, you had to go and dress,
to
and shoes and socks.
Wow.
You couldn't go there ordinary, Okay. You couldn't walk in the garden with a basin of clothes and these things,
Nothing like
or
that.
bare feet. So when you go in the gardens, you have to be prim and proper,
True.
That's a lovely place. I tell you what, I was sanctuary, the gardens. Think of the gardens, man. Especially before Hurricane David.
True.
Yeah.
True. What you have to understand is this, gentlemen. Windsor Park closed all sports and activities right now. That's where you can recreate in the gardens. The people from Bath Road have their little area. The guys where they playing their football. We use the gardens for recreation. People walking 35 steps in
the legendary 35 steps. Yeah.
Gardens used to have Garden Sibo. He was in the hostel in the grammar school. I don't know whether his name was on the love tree, the cactus tree. We had this.
That, yes. Put your name on this thing, yes.
Let me hold on a while. There's a caller there. Let's hold on 1 minute. Good night.
Good night, Siwo. Good night, Mr. Lewis. Good night, Mr. Sebastian and Dr. Fountain.
Yes, okay, Mr. Robinson, good night. Good evening.
I will take the last one first. Why is it that we're talking about golf course in the Botanic Gardens when we have 400 acres down at Layu Valley that was formerly the Layu River Hotel property? 400 acres there. They're building hotels everywhere, but they're not building a hotel in Layu. But that's good for the St. Joseph people. They still vote for Labour anyway. On the question of the of this consultation, what I don't understand, we have all these recommendations. We want to go to consultation to have for us to give and take with what Dennis Byron prepares. We have two very good persons who have done legal drafting. We have two very good legal draftsmen in Dominica, Mr. Laran, who was the former Attorney General in the UWP government, and Mr. Harris. Why don't we draft the legislation that we want and then go compare it with what Byron has? Because I don't understand why people have this confidence in Byron. Now, we're here to talk about Sir and this legal luminary. How can you be a legal luminary? And while you were chairman of the Judicial Service and Legal Services Commission in St. Lucia, you took a man you dismissed a magistrate without due process. That is the basic tenet of the legal profession, due process. So I don't know why people hailing up this man at this thing, but that's just my contribution in this part. I'm listening for the sport later. Good night, gentlemen.
Okay, Mr. Robinson. Thank you very much for your contribution.
No, all the lights are going. Hold on, Lobby. All the lights going. Good night.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, ma'am.
The doctor in question, Dr. Darus, he was the minister for the, what you call the Petit Savan area. What his name is? Dr. Darus.
Yes.
That is the Dr. Darus that get to deal with that called
consultation. Yeah.
On electoral reform.
Mm-hmm.
Why that should happen? What Dr. Darus have to do with anything?
Mm-hmm.
You are former minister. You shouldn't be there. People like Duncan Stowe and all of them that should be handling that, and they just put it in Starboy stupidity has. And on the question of the botanical gardens, all we need in the only green space we have around Roseau. Melissa took people's park. She put a playground in it and she concrete it, take all the green grass and she concrete there. We have got people's park again. Half of it gone. Right? In the only country in the Caribbean haven't got a botanical gardens, that would be Dominica. If it's true, we Dominicans stand up and let Mr. do that to us. No, that shouldn't happen. Dominicans all have to get up. We have to do something. We cannot stand up. Yeah, sit down and let the man use the botanical gardens to do what he wants. If he sell it, we want to know how much he sell it for. Who buy it? Why should you sell a property that doesn't belong to you? It's state property. You can't sell state property like that. No, that is nonsense that's going on in that country. Understand that we Dominicans really take a stand. Botanical gardens right now, proper trees to be planted there. All the trees Hurricane David and Maria destroy. Replant them. That is what we want. Those nice rose trees, all nice trees that were there before. Give us to us again. Bye.
Yes, good, thanks. Right,
yes.
At one point, they had given Rupert Sorrento some assignment to get the gardens rehabilitated or something.
I think it was a committee you're right, you know.
Some committee to rehabilitate the gardens.
Nothing was done.
And nothing was done. I remember that very well.
Nothing was done.
Yeah.
We have another caller. Hold on, Lebby. Good night.
Your Honor, Sir Ozzy Louis.
Sir.
I wanted to give Sibo a lawyer, but a former magistrate I want to give Sibo. For you to write a letter to Sibo for me. Because Sibo tell me how some milk free to give me. When he give it to me, there is no water to wash me. Sibo, what's up?
I'm very good, man.
Blessings to you.
Blessings. How you doing?
And Cole, Lumby and Low Black, blessings to you all.
Blessings, brother. Blessings.
Blessings. Gentlemen, it is so sad. Just briefly, can you imagine all the process that was supposed to take place prior to Dennis Byron inclusion or involvement is now they're taking place? For Dr. Andre and everybody else to come in the, how they call it, consultation. Why not just the submission? Take all the recommendations and go the first one and submit it to them. Look, you cannot go to validate criminality. You bypass the electoral commission, the commissioners on the electoral commission. You bypass everybody. You do your nastiness. Now you have people come in and compromise the integrity and the principle to come and listen to a medical doctor. Government, again, it has never freed itself from the grip of government. The whole process and the electoral commission was excluded. And now for me to go and listen, whether it's in pastor or the church, they can tell me by Sir Ozzy Louis going. No part happening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Okay, Mr. Aristotle, blessings.
No, you know, the thing about it also, people like Thompson them are put in a difficult position.
Yes.
If you do not go,
right.
If you do not go, then they will say, well, you are inviting.
You're not interested.
You're not interested.
Yeah.
So you come. You're not.
But they keep saying that is the opposition coming back the whole process.
Exactly. Using that.
They don't want it. Now they have
gentlemen.
Yeah, you see, so it's very difficult for us. We're in a very difficult position.
But Ozzy, gentlemen, isn't that a fiasco? You had the OAS, you had CARICOM, you had all these people, groups involved.
Yes.
Recommendation.
Time and time
more
again.
More than 50 recommendations, right?
More than 50 recommendations. 50. Half a century.
Let's take this caller.
Still want more.
Let's take this caller. Good night.
Hello.
Good night, Sibo. Good night, Ozzy. This is Ati.
Hi.
Ati, good evening, man.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I just wanted to sort of pick up a little bit where we left off last week.
Yes.
by providing some additional information.
Yes.
The Botanical Gardens is a unique feature of Dominica.
It is.
It's one of 7 botanical gardens, that were established throughout the Eastern Caribbean over 100 years ago. Our gardens is about 120 plus years old. And so it's not an insignificant part of the natural and built infrastructure. The gardens is also one of the sites in Dominica that is visited, as Sibo was saying, and as Lobi was saying. Almost every Dominican for generations at least walked through the gardens.
Of course.
Or did other things in the gardens.
Oh, yes.
And fellas like that,
Rafi, what about you? You are a prominent sportsman and musician as well. Anyway, go on.
And so it is a part of us. It is an integral component of Dominica, even before it was used for sports, because it was set up not for sports. Initially, it was set up to capture and hold and store biodiversity, meaning samples of plants that the British government was collecting from all over the world. And so, it became important to us from a sporting standpoint, from a plant propagation standpoint. It is where people like the giants of forestry made their name there. People like Christopher Maxime, people like Mr.
Julian.
All the others in forestry. I don't want to spend time calling too many names, but it's really crucial that we understand that is part of its uniqueness. It earns money through tourism. It has earned money through cricket and other sports. It provides health and wellness opportunities for the local population. And don't forget, especially now in the face of climate change and all the heat situations, a green space like that in a small city like Roseau is of paramount importance. It's within walking distance, and people can go there and cool out. But in addition to all of that, let us be clear that we have told the world from 1961, when Shanklin and Cox did their report, we told the world we were the nature island and we were going to protect. So in 1975, we passed laws to protect our forests and our rivers and our beaches and all of that. So, we started living up to the title, to the brand that we gave ourselves. And you guys can testify more than anybody else as to the awe with which your colleagues in cricket and so on would come here to play cricket and then discover there was this special, literally a Garden of Eden. They were playing cricket in a Garden of Eden. Let's be very clear that any attempt to deal with this outside of the parameters of this element of nature for tourism, for the health of the people, for reminding the people of the region and visitors about the beauty and wonderment of Dominica would be something that needs to be pushed back again. I would go further to say this. 1961, Shanklin and Cox had a plan. There were several other plans officially requested and prepared for the botanical gardens. You mentioned Rupert Sorrento. He was asked to do a plan. He did a plan for that, for the gardens. Lennox Honeychurch, Dr. Honeychurch, has a plan that he did and presented for consideration. The late Dr. Bully, Alwyn Bully, did a plan for the botanical gardens. The Dominica Conservation Association, when Henry Shillingford and others like that were involved with that organization, prepared, alongside with the Architects Association, we prepared a plan for the botanical gardens. So there's no lack of direction. What there is a lack of vision, commitment, and courage to do what everyone knows is the best thing for the botanical gardens. So it seems to me that we are at a point now where, rather than push back against this insane initiative, and it is credible, let me just say so, it is a credible piece of information we have about the plans for a golf course feature in the botanical gardens. It is credible.
Okay.
And so it is our plan to sort of gather all these other plans that have been developed for the botanical garden, convene a public forum or fora where people from all over the island who wish to come and see, hear what is involved, make your contribution, and filter it now, taking the best features of all these other plants and creating a roadmap for the botanical gardens, and let that be what we put Dominicans' energy behind. It's not enough for us to put our energy behind stopping something. Let us now put our energy behind building something that we can all be a part of, and all sort of add some time and energy and resources to. So I'd just say to sportsmen, to the elderly like myself and yourself, Ozzy, the gardens is a safe place to walk. I met Babs. Babs walks in the gardens every day. He walks there every day. So that's our generation that still gets benefit from the botanical gardens. So let's see if we still have the guts, the balls, the gumption to stand up and protect something that is a big part of our livelihood as a Dominican, and needs to remain of the livelihood of future generations of Dominicans and visitors who will have the privilege of visiting us, coming to Dominica. And so I'm hoping that people like yourself, Ozzy, Sebastian, Mano, Zaidi, and all the people who played cricket in the botanical gardens in particular, this is your moment. This is your moment to stand up and preserve that part of the cricket heritage, which is so important to you. Thank you so much, Ozzy. And I'm sure others will wish to contribute, but I just wanted to put that out.
Yeah, thank you, Arthur. Thank you very much.
And we will actually talk with you further next week about how it's going forward. Okay?
Right. Thank you very much, Arthur Martin. Thank you.
Hold on, Thompson, when you check it, you're not doing really the amount of people, if you let's say the gardens is taken away, a lot of people, when the country
will be inconvenience a lot of people, man. I mean, yes.
But I still, it's incredible because, when you think about the history of this, I mean, the gardens was actually set up by a 29-year-old Hesketh Bell.
I remember, yes.
And Hesketh Bell, after he cut his teeth in Dominica, he did so well. He did the Insular Road as well, and the gardens is one of his major achievements. And as a reward for that, he was made the governor of Uganda, From Dominica, he went to Uganda to be the governor because of his, largely based on his work in Dominica. He was rewarded, and after all of those years, after all of the history of it, and there's a lot written in the books that are written by Jane Rees. She reminisces about the gardens and so on. After all of that, to just take this away from Dominica this is a heartless government.
Of course it is.
It's
very well said, Thompson.
Well, I mean, the gardens like my yard, I mean, I still live a minute from 50 yards from the gardens. I live at Emsall. I see the gardens every day.
But in Newtown, you were close there.
Newtown was just 3 minutes walk to the gardens.
In fact, 200, let me see, from your home in Newtown.
300 yards. Yes. And I always have to go on holidays. I had to go on bathe on the power. You have to go through the gardens. The gardens was like a home.
It's used for many people.
For men, I mean,
as we said, young guys.
Yes.
It was used as a study place as well. A lot of us young kids
study there. Yes, study.
And not only that, for elderly people to go and relax and get fresh air.
And great cricket is the Mecca cricket grounds.
That's why I played.
The gardens, when it's called Central Gardens, those early days. Your Lord,
well, let's say a lot of
it's unbelievable to even think of it. It's mind-boggling. Yes. Hello.
Good night.
Hello,
yes.
Muku. Let me tell you something. The historical part of that garden is more than even what happened today. Remember, that's what colonial people lived for us, after slavery. After all our slave brutality we get, they compensate all them slave masters, they leave us on nothing. The liquid is the rain for us, they still want to sell it.
Okay.
Well delivered.
Yes, hello. We have another caller.
I have this one.
Hello?
The gardens was like prestigious grounds, before.
By holy ground.
They would come from the river, Buffett said there, you could not pass in that botanical garden. There's not close on your head.
Could not, no.
No. That's like it. You could to believe in Bath Road there by the last gate by the cemetery. Just make it big wrong. Because you had the what you call them, the security guards. You see how the gabardine policemen dressing now? That is how the guards in the botanical gardens used to dress, you know.
True.
There's a Horatio in the gardens, man. A fellow called Horatio, a guard.
They're stamping their hand. They're stamping their hand and their nice cap and their
True. Well gabardine.
and well dressed to be security guard in botanical gardens, you know.
Yeah.
And now botanical gardens just turn from doing anything in botanical gardens, and that should stop. We need a proper botanical gardens, plant our trees and do what all you have to do. But we're not letting that go like that, you know. Bye-bye.
Indeed.
Yeah,
But you had lovely fruits in the gardens.
But
Yeah.
if I was just going to say,
Tangerines and this thing, my God, the best tangerines
I was
out.
just going to say,
Don't remember the tangerines at the back one?
Ozzy, there's tropical fruits.
Yes.
So a lot of times our juice was made from guys. We use different guys as a decoy for the guards.
Yeah.
So while they're looking at one, others going get fruits in the garden.
Yeah.
So we can make juice
Yeah.
in the hostel.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
A guy called Horatio, before your time maybe.
Horatio.
He was a legendary guard there.
Well, only like we can't keep going on that. A lot of
Yeah, we can't with that. We have to move on.
Yeah, move on.
We have the basketball.
We have to move on.
Take one more call and let's move on. One more call and let's move on. Good night. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, gentle people.
Yes.
Yeah, hello.
Good night to you, and I thank you for sharing people and culture. It's just alleged our gardens, botanical gardens sold. Hello?
Hello, yes, I listen to you.
Botanical gardens sold, no?
No, you're hearing people talking about that there may be plans for that. Nobody has said it is being sold definitively yet. But you're hearing about it. It's been rumored.
That's a joke for us to think of selling our botanical gardens.
Mm-hmm.
It is why would we want to sell our what most of the countries around the world doesn't have? Why would we want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
My God, I feel sorry for my country, Dominic.
Okay,
but nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Let's take our first break.
Yeah, it's 6:38, so we're taking a break and we have to move on. Yes.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting weekly sports show on Q95. The entire Caribbean is listening to
Yes, welcome back to Sports Wrap. It's now 6:41 by the clock on the wall.
Correct time.
We have our guest for for the time being, Mr. Donnie Robinson.
And hopefully we'll have the coach of the whatever the name is, Pichler, the team that won. He should be joining us in the next few minutes.
So Donnie is the losing captain.
And a lot of heart. The losing captain is the president of the Basketball Association as well, and a player as well. So
we have Mr. Robinson at our microphones. So Donnie, first of all, what do you attribute to the loss, defeated in championship key matches? You went down. What was the final scoreline? Five years. What do you attribute to that?
Good evening, guys. As usual, good to be here. Last night was I think we played 4 games in the best of 5 series, and the first 2 games were blowouts either way. We won 1 game by a massive victory margin. Same thing for the eventual champions. But last night came down to a 5-point game, and it was. I think it came
5-point game.
Yeah, we lost by 5 points. Going into the last 2 minutes, we were up by 5, and we just made some tactical errors. Silly turnovers, and most importantly, we saw free throws. And I guess the guys were a lot hungrier, put it that way, and the chips just fell their side. I think both teams were evenly matched last night. It was maybe the best game of the season. Massive crowd, decently refereed. It was a well-played game, and the better team won last night.
So you had made the better team won, right? That's
last night, the better team last night.
Oh, just last night.
I don't know if the better team.
Not the entire series, just last night.
Well, I heard I think it was a captain interview saying that the people must take note now that Pichler in basketball is the team. I think I heard it on BBS. Obviously, as you said, it was a well-fought series. So, I mean, to that, he has to give praise to your team as well. I think Detroit Bravers played very well as well.
Yeah, I mean, Pichler have some good players. You have to give. They put together a pretty good team. Maybe top 3, 4, 5 players. If you had to pick today, you would maybe pick 3 or 4 of them from Pichler. But having said that, Blazers is a team that goes way back. If these finals were contested 10 years ago, you maybe would have the same Blazers team. So we've been together for a long time, and it's clear in the series that it had nothing to do with age gap. They were right there every time. But I give credit to their team. They played well. They've been playing well all season. They went through the league undefeated. Having said that, Blazers is not going anywhere. So I would expect him to have all the good things to say about his team. But with all due respect, they were the better team in the series, and they won the championship. But we'll be back.
But I'm sure you're satisfied. All along me that the season has ended on a good note, despite the fact that your team lost.
Yes, that's why we changed the whole format of the league. Before, you would have best of 3. You would have 8 or 9 teams in the playoffs. This time we wanted to shrink it to the better teams and have more basketball being played among the better teams.
How many teams you had in playing?
So we had 8 teams in the Premier
Division.
But the playoffs, we brought it down to 4. As normally it would be 6 or even 8 teams.
We made it top 4.
Right. So it was the top 4, everybody playing, the 1
standard.
4. Yeah. And the better 2 teams played for a 5-game series, which gave the fans more basketball. And actually what we wanted to do was to play a higher level of basketball for a longer time. So I think we achieved that goal. And the interest is back. I mean, the finals were sold out every night. And so pretty good way to end the season, yes.
I would ask you, how you feel the interest in basketball as it was yesteryear compared to now.
To be honest, it's still vast difference. I mean, the Windsor Park days we were playing.
We
were playing crowds of thousands. I would say.
Yes.
Today we're playing. We we still have a packed house, but that is towards the end of the season. We must appreciate too that basketball is off for about 7 years.
That's what I know.
So our goal as an executive is to bring that interest back. And I think
you think it's
we
coming
did
back
that with the first season. Yes, I think we did that.
That's important.
We still have our challenges. Trying to get things like officiating, to get some good.
This is a problem.
Interested in officiating and coaching as well.
Officiating as an OBC has always been a perennial problem to get
because respect has lost. The players lost respect for the officials.
Yeah, I think it's a combination, though, Lobby. I think it's...
Yeah, I know, but in my time. But Donnie, I want to ask you a question. You said that the last 2 minutes you're up by 5. I've seen Blazers play. Blazers is you can say the remnant of hacks. All right, it is. But one of the problem I find is that defense, did you all, lock down up by 5, 2 minutes to go? All right, what was the word in terms of defense? Tighten up on defense.
So actually, defense brought us back into the game. We were down prior to that for about 3 or 4 minutes, and our defense actually is what we think brought us back in the game. We had a totally different defensive scheme.
You have been man to man or what?
We played a box and one. We played a box and one because they have a very dominant on the ball player. So box and one.
You have a double team, all these things that either.
Yeah, that played well. Well, what we didn't do in the last 2 minutes was the offense faltered because their defense kind of collapsed on our offensive players, and we had some turnovers. But our defense is what brought us back into the game. So our defense was on point. We just didn't capitalize, turn that into offense in the last 2 minutes.
Well, we've just been joined by Mr. Regis, the coach of the
captain.
Oh, the captain. Okay. Let me say congratulations to you.
Of Falcons.
Of Falcon, the captain. Yannick Regis, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Yannick Regis. So the coach is here.
Levi Baron.
Levi Baron. Yeah, captain.
Levi Baron is a cyclist.
No, that is.
Yes, that is it. Exactly.
Yeah, but his son is the.
His father is a cyclist too.
Yeah, but his son is a whale now.
Yeah, I know.
On duty.
Yeah, but that's in Baron, I think.
Yeah. So he's he's an all-rounder. Yeah. Let's say congratulations. I'm sure everybody wants to join and congratulate you.
Yeah. Yes, I'd like to say thank you to everyone.
Yeah. By the way, just to interrupt, he's also the vice president of DBA as well.
Okay. So we have the president on one side, the vice president on the other side.
Losing the captain. Vice president and the winning captain.
Well, that's good for the sport, man. That's good. Yeah, very good. Something you want to ask him a question?
Yeah, no. Firstly, just to say congratulations, of course, on a good season. I was just wondering, though, in terms of, since you both are on the association, what kind of plans you have to extend it even to more of the countryside, because we've seen over the years when you involve, the so-called country folk in stuff, it takes off. I'm just wondering what kind of plans the association has for bringing basketball to all of those villages in Dominica and probably expanding it to that.
But okay, so I think I've said it a few times on this program before. We rolled out a strategic plan last year, previous executive, and we have some plans to move some off-season leagues into the districts. We are looking at getting into the grassroots part of it and actually zoning up basketball in line with the Ministry of Sports kind of zones, and kind of focusing on zone competitions and allowing the zone champions to then compete at a national level. Therefore, you get more people playing, but the national level would have a higher level of basketball. That's one way. The second way is to try to introduce the club structures, where we try to persuade or encourage all the district teams to become clubs. So you can be represented by more than one team. You can have younger players play in various divisions because they're within the club, and that sort of thing. So we have a pretty detailed plan laid out. But our first step was to get our national league out of the way, and that is our first achievement.
And Dominic, before it's completely amateur.
Yes,
no semi-professional stuff.
Completely
amateur. Okay.
Any plans to go on a tour now, just after the season? It doesn't have to be a Caribbean competition. Let's take, for instance, you go to Guadeloupe, you pick a squad of guys, Antigua. Any plans to do that?
Well, yes. The first step is to have a all tournament team announced at the prize giving ceremony. And then from that will be the group of players that a national team will be selected from. And we do have some contacts between Guadeloupe and St. Lucia that we are trying to encourage a weekend tournament. Either they come down or we go up before the end of the year, that's for sure, because there is no regional tournament, FIBA sanctioned regional tournament as we speak. So it's unfortunate, but we are trying to, we must have a carrot to dangle among the players to encourage them even more to at least represent and want to play their best. So we are working on a few.
I'll say something here, gentlemen. Johnny, just some of, with basketball is that, as you talk about a tour, something that would be good would have called a Creole Cup with Dominica hosting with Dominica, St. Lucia, Martinique, and Guadeloupe. How you look at that?
Actually, we had a mini Creole Cup last November, and we are planning to do the same through the 767 Sports Club and some connections they have in Guadeloupe.
Make it bigger, look like the French.
We had 3 teams from 2 or 3 teams from Guadeloupe present last year, and we're trying to open it up to include St. Lucia this year. It's still in the infant stages, but it is a good idea that you can jump on the ferry and go to a competition.
Well, no, in terms of finance, having this thing, getting some money home. I think, looking at it in Dominica, all right, taking the serious initiative, about something serious.
Yeah.
All right, advertise that in the French country. You could have a lot of French people coming here. All right, yeah. So you can have Marigaland involved. You can have, if you want to have 6 teams or 17, get other teams, but so that we hosting.
Yeah.
That's one thing that make basketball very popular over the years. Most of the OECS games, countries, they love coming to Dominica.
Yeah.
Yannick, your team, most of your guys, where are they based? Are they based in Pichline?
Well, yes, the core of the team is Pichline. It's Pichline developed players, but we have a couple players outside of Pichline. Mr. Peter Ricketts, who's from the Goodwill area, and Ramal Carbon is from the Grand Bay area. But the core of the team is basically Pichline, and you have some players who played basketball in Pichline but live in Bellevue right now from the Pizza Haven settlement.
So where do you all practice?
We practice in Pichline. We have one of the best courts. Before the passing of Hurricane Maria, I think we had the best outdoor court. Now it's needs a lot to work, but it's still a top court where we train on a regular. We have a youth program. So this is where we develop. We call it the bird's nest in Pichline.
Yeah. So on a regular, but how do you practice? Every day or weekends? How do you do it?
About the court.
Well, because of the weather, it is not as regular as it should be. It's outdoors, so the weather affected. Yeah, but we try to practice at least 3 times a week, right? Trying it at least 3 times at night, preferably. So it's definitely not a fixed schedule, but it's something there we have to get in at least 2 to 3 practices per week.
So the thing is that,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the good thing about these guys, they have their own court that's available 24/7 to players who can go and do their own practices, their own shooting whenever they want. That is how it used to be in Roseau in the Windsor Park. The court was available for 24/7. That's what you need.
We have to thank our park at the time, Dr. Darrow, for helping us in rebuilding the court, and he saw value in it, and it's surely showing dividends right now in the team, and we are bringing national level of basketball from the countryside, and you can see that right now with Grammy not being as what is it going to say?
Dominant as before.
As before, you still the same type of talent coming from the Pichla area, which is surprising because the population in Pichla is not as big as Granby is.
But brother, Mr. Darrow, you all have a key player there from Granby.
Well, it's not Mr. Darrow, it's Mr. Regis Lobby.
I say, Mr. Regis, you have a key player from Granby there.
You're talking about Ramal Carbon?
Ramal, I know, yeah, a key player. Yes, yeah. And you have Dr. Ricketts. Ricketts?
Ricketts, Dr. Ricketts.
Right, these are 2 stalwarts you have there. I know that.
They're big men, and you know.
No, not just big. They can play the game.
Premier basketball is dominated by big men, and you can tell by the Blazers they are very big as well.
Well, to our size.
You have to get done in any post. It's not easy, right? So you need somebody to be able to match up with them. If not,
well, the game is changing now, a lot. But just for Dr. Fountain, earlier they spoke about decentralizing basketball. But I want to tell you that over the years, courts were opened in Dominica. A lot of courts were built in Dominica. A lot of courts. But you find that some of the areas, the interest, all right, you must have a team. You must have at least a team of 10 players to start a game, to start the league. So you find that some of the teams will start, and then the following year, you just don't see them again. So it's just not easy here.
I think one of the issues we realize with the basketball, the extension of our district, is you really in a situation now, the basketball at the grassroots level, what we call grassroots level, being schools, primary schools and high schools, with so many of them now that it's not like before where every high school had a dominant sports team, whichever sport it was. And now you have a gap with actually feeding the clubs and the sports teams because it's just not as prevalent as before. Whereas you have academics obviously dominates 14 and 15 courses now at CXC. I don't see how people can get time to play any serious sport. But it's not something that is really focused on like it was.
Yes, Christian is.
And as a result, sports just suffers. And the interest is our mandate is to bring the interest back. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you bring it at a stage where players are developed, semi-developed already. Bad habits are creeping in. So it's more and more important that we get coaching right, we get club structures right, because the schools part of it is almost non-existent.
But you lived in the States and you know how important sports is, and probably the authorities here are not putting enough into the sports for young people in particular, because, like for instance, cricket. Most schools now, in fact, there are schools who can't field a team. And that's unheard of. As you remember, that couldn't happen in the days gone by. Yeah. So maybe your work is cut out for you, that you as president and also you have a vice president. You all must probably try and see if you can meet with the schools and see how you can develop the basketball.
Well, we've made that commitment to try and help. I think it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, Mr. Regis was the coach of the inter-school basketball team, and at least we won inter-school basketball competitive, but we won
and female.
Both male and female. So we have something to build upon. Unfortunately, it's not in every sport, but it's the numbers are not widespread enough for us to see the kind of growth and interest that we want, and that is part, as I said, a heavy part of our mandate is to get the interest and the grassroots level of basketball back.
But your optimism is still pretty high, John.
Oh yeah, I mean, next to the Bible, basketball is love.
But you see, Ozzy, just to come in there, Ozzy, just to, what Donnie said about in the schools. I mean, when he went to his time, in grammar school, Dr. Fountain, you had Sebastian yourself in those days. Sports Day played a huge role in the development of sportsmen at the schools. I don't know if you all agree with me.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, today's chalk and cheese, you know.
I remember the days
when the emphasis on sports. Oh yeah,
a sports day in grammar school was a whole day event.
No, it was a big thing.
That was sacred.
And you made a national team and you're going to school, you're like a hero.
I was an example of that. 15 years, the whole school, there was the same. The entire school.
Yeah,
I was at the front,
playing for Dominica.
You know.
Grammar school had the best sports day. It was a family day.
I remember in the tug of war, Donnie, you remember under the tree here. You remember the tree where the pitch was, Ozzy, where Dada used to be the tug of war. And Eric should make a big cake for the winner. Yeah. It was something else. But now you don't see that.
Sports Day was a big thing.
Yeah, big thing. But you don't see that now.
But you see, Ozzy, this help early involvement in sports. It helped you to filter in other sports. All right, being very athletic. Yeah. So this in itself has because I find presently when I'm Dominic, I find our so-called senior players at school, they're very petty, they're small. We don't see big guys as before at schools. I don't know, Donnie agrees with me.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And also the point that Donny made about not having this continuity is really at that level, at the school level. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, to get the kids, and really, if you look at all of the top basketball players in the US, I mean, they start at 5, 6. That's when they start dribbling and getting into the, and if you don't have this on the school level, it's a problem, and that is something,
So, Donny, you're going to be in a break now, I would think. The basketball is going to be in a break now?
Not really. We're going to have, we're going to be planning the closing ceremony, which we plan to do before the end of the month, or at least by the end of the month. As I said, we plan to bring the curtains down with a all tournament team match and, the award ceremony. And right after that, we start our Free X3 campaign. We have a Free X3 tournament coming up at the end of the year. So we want to close out that league and have enough time to prepare a squad for that. And we definitely going to do some off-season basketball. We're trying to, we have plans to do a business league kind of, informal basketball. So we just getting started, to be honest. A lot of work to do. I'm sure Yannick agrees with me. There's a lot of work to do.
Don't forget my Creole Cup. Look into that.
We will look into it.
How you find sponsorship generally if you need to raise funds for projects? How are you getting sponsorship?
We're not doing too badly, to be very honest. It's maybe one of the first times that we didn't have to really. We had a very good sponsor that came on board early, and with the advent of the arena being closed in, we are able to raise some get receipts and help us carry on through the leagues. But I must say, there have been some good corporate partners that came.
So you have some get receipts.
Yes, and that guided us through, and for one of the few years in our history we can actually meet all our commitments.
Okay, well,
including our prize monies, and we will do that and present those at the closing ceremony.
Don, before you leave, how are you going to? You spoke about officiating, which is key. What is the immediate plan you'll have in terms of numbers, getting officials? Because if you have to, in terms of grassroots, getting the games out of decentralizing, it is you need officials. You need people to be committed.
Yeah, we have to brainstorm a bit on how we get people committed or encouraged to, because it's one of those
not easy
jobs. It's one of those jobs where somebody gonna be upset at you that night.
It's a glamorous position. I'll say it's not a glamorous position.
Exactly. So we have to find creative ways. I think
it's not glamorous.
It's not at all. It's one of those things. And by the way, this year was the first season that we actually gave a stipend to officials.
So
so it's a start, and we did that for every game. Thanks again to our sponsors, we were able to meet that commitment.
Who are the sponsors, by the way?
We will keep that for
you don't want to say publicly? The sponsors don't want to be.
Yeah, the sponsors.
Oh, they don't want to be named.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've had some good partners. We've had people like Joseph and Gabriel and stuff that came on board. Detroit Tires Inc. that came on board. A few others. But our major sponsor wants to remain
anonymous.
Yes, and since we are going to most likely get that firm to sponsor us another time, I want to play by the rules.
Okay. No problem. Well, we want to congratulate both of you all.
Mr. Regis, yes.
Mr. Regis and Johnny as well for good series. I mean, both teams played well.
Keep basketball alive.
To keep basketball alive. Yeah. Right? So we want to congratulate. And obviously, we'll be speaking to you all probably season and feel free anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
Anytime to call us about basketball. Feel free anytime.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to really thank the patrons of basketball that came out all season. We really could not ask for much more from the fans and the participation, and to my teammates that I think we left it all out on the court every night. So and congratulate the Falcons. They know that while the bird is flying high, that they can't sleep. we are right there. We'll blaze it. We'll burn the wings now.
We're the Tookie players,
But definitely on to my closing words, I'd like to thank the Falcon Nation, the supporters, our sponsor, Dr. Daru, and everybody else who came on board to make this season possible for Peachland. It's not easy being a small village team, small market, small village, and making it to Massac every night. It's not easy. And of course, the officials, as an executive member, I like to thank the officials, the scorers, the referees for coming out every night and doing their part. Done for them, the league would not be possible. So,
True.
Yeah, so definitely thank you to them.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah.
See you at the bird's nest.
So guys, I wish you all the best and
All the best.
basketball thrive and move ahead.
Thank you, guys. And
Right. Nice having you guys. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you.
Right.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Donnie.
That was the basketball
All right, Chief.
top brass. So we had Donnie Robinson.
No, it's very encouraging to see that basketball is back on the rise in Dominica. Very, very encouraging.
But gentlemen, Dr. Fontaine and the rest, the point Donnie made about sports in the school is a serious matter,
Yes, yes.
That's
yes.
a serious matter.
But then also what I noticed in the States as well is that they have these competitions.
Yep.
They have those, where it is organized not necessarily by the school, but you have like a group of people that come together and they organize competitions for the young boys so that they can start playing at 5, 6, and that's when the guys start, man. They start dribbling the ball at 5, 6, and I think it is something that we have to look at if you want to have that constant feed through, because if you start playing the game by the time you're 13, 14, even 15, it's already too late.
Too late, yeah.
It's already too late.
Besides, but you see,
Basketball is probably one of those sports you absolutely have to start early on.
But you see that this gentleman.
Do we have callers? I think we like.
No, I think we're trying to get in touch with the PR of the Football Association.
All right,
Football.
Mr. Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence, Eddie Lawrence. He's from Thompson's Village.
White City on the hill.
Yeah, Grand Pont. Eddie
Well, guys,
Lawrence.
they sit already 7 minutes past.
Well, he's on the line now. We have him on the line. Mr. Lawrence, good night. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Sebastian. Good night, Mr. Fountain. Good night, Mr. Lewis.
Good
Yes, sir. Good
And
night.
Low Black as well.
And good night, Mr. Lovey. What's up, buddy?
Yeah,
I'm doing okay. Good to hear your voice.
Good, man.
First thing I want to ask you, I heard a score in a league match, something like 15-1 over the weekend. Did that really happen?
This was Dublin versus LA Star.
Okay, well, go on, tell us. Tell us what happened. Yeah, tell us.
Okay, over the weekend in the Premier League, Dublin defeated LA Stars 15-0. What? 15-0, that is, and making Dublin the eligible winner for the time, but nonetheless, this will be determined by this weekend if Dublin really and truly the champ. Also, we had some changes in our points standing. We have now Blue Waters Bath Estate with 26 points, and Promex Harlem with 24, Tranquility Beach with 24, but the difference with them and Harlem is a goal difference. Harlem has 37 goals. So again, with this weekend, we will see most likely a change in this when I give the schedule, followed by Petro Caribbean Point Michel with 22, Connect 767 East Central with 19, Bombers, they defeated Tranquility Beach Sunday 3-2, and as a result, Bombers gained 16 points. Then we have Valvoline United with 13, and Ellis Stars in the stellar position with 11 points. So these are the points standing for the Premier team.
We lost you? Yeah. Let's try and get him back.
I'm trying to get him back.
Yeah.
All right, while we try to get him back, but 15-1.
Yeah, that's a lot of goals.
15-1, eh?
Yeah, that's
Like
Wow.
a cricket score.
Yeah,
That is
15 without loss.
double digits.
Was there a full 11?
Premier?
in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, that's a lot of
embarrassing. I mean,
But was there a full 11? What happened?
Well, he didn't say they didn't have a full team. He didn't say that. So
15 loves.
That's
what I want to know. He has to explain how it happened. Because that's your Premier Division,
Yeah.
It's a Premier Division. Something went wrong. Whether how many players were sent off in the end of
relegation.
Well, I would think so.
No, Ozzy, but I want to know a thing like that. Whether they started with 11 and they ended with 6 or 7 players were sent. Something happened. I would like to know.
You think so?
Something had happened. It's possible, Ozzy.
But it could also mean that Dublin is just a very dominant team.
Exactly.
But yes, but their winning has not been so, let's say 7-8. They have been winning those teams 8-9, like that, to say dominant. Yes, they have been winning. But it does move from
goals for football.
In a Premier League.
Premier League.
Oh, yes.
And,
but it belies. I think what it speaks to is the overall quality, yeah? The overall quality of the teams. I mean,
but I don't. Besides quality, you cannot be in the Premier Division and to tell me and get 15 love.
You get him back.
It's craziness.
Maybe he's trying to call us.
Yeah.
Yes, we have lost Mr. Lawrence.
Maybe it's him. Good night.
Yes, you all were disconnected shortly.
Okay.
Now, the 15 love Dubla and Ellis Stars. Most of Ellis Stars players, as they've said, well, I will use the correct term because I'm not a medical person. It was alleged by them that they were some of them were injured, so they could not have given
the best.
They could not have given maximum. So as a result.
So how many players they had on the field?
Repeat yourself.
How many players did they have on the field?
They played the first half with 8, and then the second half they came up with 10.
Oh, so that was a full complement. So
yeah,
that is right.
The other point, that was a full complement.
But that was old mass man thing.
But then also doesn't the rules allow you to forfeit a game if you can't make
no, you can study
the players?
There is a rule, but it is the onus is left on the team to say so to the official.
Mm-hmm.
The onus is left on them to tell the official that due to ABC, whatever the problem is, we cannot play the game, and the officials, together with the technical director and those setting up the fixtures, would consider. Mm-hmm. But if they do not do that, and we believe, well, we are bad, and we can play the game well.
Wow, because I'd prefer to forfeit than to be embarrassed with a 15-1.
No, but
is that team facing relegation?
That is the greatest defeat in the Premier League thus far, a 15 loss.
Is that team facing relegation, Mr. Lawrence?
Repeat yourself, sir?
Is the team facing relegation?
Yes, Ellis Stars is facing relegation as we speak. But like I said to you, this weekend, they are coming up against Valvoline United. These are the teams that are looking at relegation. So Valvoline is on 13, and Ellis Stars is 11. So whatever happens this weekend, one of them will definitely be going down the first division league.
Mr. Lawrence.
Go ahead.
Yes. You said about the team started with eight players. I think I don't know if the law stands still that you could have 9 players to start with, including a goalkeeper.
Well, yeah, the eight plus the goalkeeper. So that's what it was.
Okay, but you see, if they had problem, they should have written to you all early enough.
Remember, I said alleged because I'm not the doctor. Okay. There are other circumstances. There are other circumstances leading to that. So on their part, they were injured, but on another part, something was happening in the area that we were not going to.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see. So listen, who's playing this weekend? Which teams are playing this weekend?
Well, for the weekend schedule for the Premier matches, on Saturday, we have Tranquility Beach, Midland United coming up against Petro Caribe in Stockton. On Sunday, we have Valvoline United and Ellis Stars at 4, Stockton Training Facility, and Sajiko Southwest versus Promex Harlem, again at the Stockton Facility. The interesting game is between Valvoline United and Ellis Stars. However, if Sajiko Southwest is defeated on Sunday, then automatically Dubla becomes the winner.
Mm. So how many more matches to go before the season ends?
Southeast, how many?
As we speak now, 3 for Dubla, and Sajiko has 3, so they will be left with 2, and all the others are 2. So Dubla is still nonetheless the leading point makers in the game. So while everybody else would be 2-2, Dubla is 3, and Sajiko would have been 3. but on Sunday it will be left with 2.
What about Southeast, as they were out of split?
Well, they are playing Sunday with Promet Galen.
So that would give them what, 2 games remaining?
2 games left, 2 left after.
Okay, that does 6 points. So they have 9 points.
Yeah, so 9 points, but nonetheless, Dubla is on 38. So as I was telling you, based on what happens on Sunday, Dubla will be, you know?
Champs. Okay.
Yeah, champ. Mm-hmm.
Right, so Mr. Lawrence, thanks. We will connect with you next week again.
There are other things. There are other happenings in the football.
Well, tell us.
Our under 15 boys are doing very well. We must say congratulations to them.
Mm-hmm.
They are second in their zone, and tomorrow they are playing the semi-finals versus St. Vincent.
Semi-finals already?
Yes, in our zone. Tomorrow, semi-final 1.
Okay.
With St. Vincent, so they qualified in their zone, and we must say a big up to Giovanni George for scoring. For equalizing with 6 and kickers. We drew with them 1-1, and and then we had them playing, and very much again Giovanni scored a hat-trick versus BVI that game. So hence we are on top of things. We are second with a goal difference of 5 from 6 and kickers. So we are second in our zone.
How many countries involved?
In the group.
How many countries are involved?
We have my notes. It's quite a few countries, but we be qualified in our zone.
Your zone, yes.
Yeah.
When you say you qualify, you qualify for the second round of the competition?
Second round, yes. Yes, sir.
You said that you're playing a knockout, a semi-final, because if you're in a zone,
yeah. Well, we qualified in our zone because the first two, the top 2 teams, we made it through.
Oh, so you all and who else? Which is the other team that qualify?
In our team, in our zone we have 6 and kickers number 1 and we number 2.
Okay, so who you all playing into the other round? What teams you all playing in the other round?
So for tomorrow, that's the fixture they gave me. We are playing St. Vincent at 2.
Okay, all right.
Well, congratulations to the young boys. They're doing pretty well.
So far, so good.
So far, so good, yes.
And soon, when we come next week, you will get a picture as to our under 15 women and under 17 women, what is going to happen, because soon they will be having their very games at home and abroad. So you'll be getting information concerning them as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Lawrence, thanks very much for your contribution. We appreciate it. Looking forward till next time.
FIFA women, Sibo.
Right.
Yeah, well, before we get run now, the FIFA, yes. Down to the quarterfinal. In fact, Lobby, in just over an hour's time, we have Spain will be playing Netherlands, Aussie, tonight.
There are 2 European teams.
World Cup.
Yes.
Oh, they could ask him my next question. How many teams involved, and he can't give a correct answer?
Well, I mean, maybe he didn't have the notes in the book.
No, he wasn't giving the correct answer when he asked that question.
Yeah, well, you know this.
How many teams involved? You can't give a correct answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Spain playing tonight, 9 o'clock, the first quarterfinal.
Anyway, who won the World Cup netball?
Australia
They
won. Beat Jamaica by 2 points, and then Jamaica came first. They beat New Zealand. So Australia played England. It was on Saturday morning. I was going to call you to tell you it was a nice game, man.
Right.
Australia and Jamaica.
Jamaica and New Zealand.
Yeah, well, Jamaica beat them.
For the bronze.
Yeah. But Australia beat England to win the world championship.
Australia retained the championship.
Correct. Yeah.
Now in football, World Cup, women's football.
Well, women's football tonight. Well, Jamaica lost. Jamaica in 4 games only conceded 1 goal.
Okay.
So they lost to Colombia, who in fact will be playing England tomorrow on Saturday. In 1 quarterfinal. Australia plays France. That's going to be a tough game for Australia.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah, on Saturday at 3 o'clock. And then on Friday, you have Japan playing Sweden. Japan playing Sweden 3 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Right.
Yeah,
Former champions.
So Africa is out completely.
Yeah.
Nigeria was the last African team.
Well, you see, I think the African teams, they give a tremendous account of themselves. And I can tell you, come the next World Cup, I'm expecting an African team to win.
Okay, we have Ron on the line. Good night. Hold on.
Good night.
Good night, Ron.
How are you?
Well, Thompson is there. Oz is there.
Evening, Ron. Evening.
Well, Ron, I didn't want to ask you what happened.
You have to commiserate with him then. Ron?
I can hardly hear you. It's a little fuzzy. Could you repeat that, please?
We want
to
commiserate.
We have to commiserate with you now. You hearing us?
No, I'm not hearing you too well.
But we're hearing you clearly.
You hear me clearly? Okay.
Yeah. Are you hearing us now?
Yeah, a little better.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us, Ron, we know things didn't go well in St. Kitts.
Right, it didn't go too well. So
tell us what happened.
What really happened?
All right. Well, we were in a group with three teams, a three-group team. It was the Cayman Islands Scholars International and the Golden Lion from Martinique. We played the Cayman Islands team first, and we played well. Unfortunately, we made one mistake in the defense, and that resulted in a goal. And they scored another goal in the second half. We ended up losing the game, although I would say we played better than the Cayman Island team, and we should have won that game, but we didn't convert. We had at least 4 or 5 opportunities that could have turned into goals, that the conversion just wasn't there. Now, in the second game, that was a much tougher game. Golden Lions is a reputed, very strong team from Martinique. They have 7 players that we have got information play regularly in France. We held our own. We held our own for the first 44 minutes of the first half. The score was, at that time, it was 2-1. And then they scored a goal just at the brink of the first half. So it was 3-1 when we entered into halftime break. But it turned out that in the second half, they just exploited our weaknesses, basically in the defense, and we were not able to adapt. Overall, the team never gave up. We played hard, we played strong, but we ended up getting a real beating, 11-1.
Yeah, but Ron, I think
it's unfortunate, but there are lessons to learn. I think when you get a beating like that, you have to learn the lessons, and you have to come back strong. And we're playing, in fact, in a Premier League match on Sunday against Harlem, and the team, I think, is learning from what happened, and hopefully will respond accordingly.
Yes, Ron, I thought in the first game you had some injuries to some of your key players, Javid and Sydney, I recall. Were they able to play in the second game?
Yes, I didn't mention that because I didn't want to appear to be giving any excuses or alibis.
No, but it's important to note.
Game, 4 of our starters were out.
Mm-hmm.
They got serious injuries. In fact, 2 of them played injured in the game against Golden Lions, but 2 of them, that is Troy Lewis and Sidney Lockhart, could not play at all in the game against Golden Lions. But we were able to work with Javid, and he played injured, Javid George, our leading scorer. He played injured in the second game, and Darren, our captain and leading defender, played injured in the second game. So those were realities. And then we got a red card in the 65th minute in that second game against Golden Lion. And lost another defender, Yannick George. So in the last 20 minutes of that second game, we played with only 10 men.
What was the score before the red card?
But those are realities. That happened. And that caused a flurry of additional goals that probably would not have scored if we had 11 men. Yeah.
Okay.
So are the Ron, Low Black, Sunday coming, do you have the services of these injured players on Sunday coming?
We will. I think Javid will be okay. We're not sure about Darren. He has a hamstring. Sydney, we'll know in the next day or 2. Troy remains out. He has a very bad foot, and Troy will probably be out for that game on Sunday. So of the 4 players that were injured, we're looking at 3 of them should be able to play, but we won't know that really till game time.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Ron, once again, we have to commiserate with you and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for your support. Thanks for your interest.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it was rough going, but
as you said, you learned
the
some
players
lessons from
enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, you learned some lessons from
and,
it.
We'll be stronger for it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. You know, it's crying never spilled milk. Thank you very much, Ron.
Good. Keep up the good work. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Good. Guys, some tennis.
Before you go, the new England football, the new English season starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Manchester City playing Burnley.
What cup?
Is
it for a cup?
No, the league starts tomorrow.
League,
in England, and then the big game is on Sunday. Chelsea against Liverpool, Sunday at 1 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, sorry.
Right. Some tennis now. The ATP Masters tournament continues in the while, Lobby. They're playing in Canada, the Rogers Cup, they call it. They're playing in Toronto now. And a number of top seeds have been losing, like Zverev. He lost in the very first game he played. Alexander Zverev. 60 pass. He's going through a rough time now. He's lost his very first match in the tournament.
Morphis beat him back to back.
Morphis, right. Gael Morphis, to me, who is semi-retired. When he comes on the court, you don't know whether he's serious or not.
But he's playing well.
He beat 60 pass. And now you have this guy with a tremendous comeback, a guy called Ryan Nitch. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh, yes.
A Canadian guy, a tall, powerful fellow from top. And he has one of the biggest serves in the game today, you know.
I know.
Milos Raonic.
I know him very well.
He beat Francis Tiafoe, that
yes.
fella.
Tiafoe is not serious. He's a showman.
Right. So, and Chris Ruud, that's the guy from Norway, he lost today. The guy from Denmark, who is Rooney, Holger Rooney, lost today. But Medvedev, who is ranked number 2, won his match today. But about half a dozen of his so-called seeds, top fellas, have lost in the Rogers Cup. After they play in the Cincinnati Cup, and then we have the US Open, which is somewhere, early September.
End of August.
End of August. But I think he's not playing the Rogers Cup right now, Novak. But,
and the women's side, Aussie.
No, well, they're not bringing the women. I haven't watched the women's side. That's strictly.
You don't watch the women?
Huh?
Do you watch the women?
No, I haven't watched the women. I haven't seen the women. You watch them?
Oh, but of course they're playing. Yes, these games, women and men.
I know, but they're only bringing ESPN is bringing only men's.
Okay.
So probably women, maybe Sports Max or might be bringing the women. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll see the women playing.
Well, in the US, Aussie, in the US, the good thing about it, they have this tennis channel, ATP tennis channel. So you see all this game, that's the advantage you have.
But all they're bringing on ESPN is the men.
Okay.
Like Zverev, all the guys are losing again. But I was saying something there which I still sort of missed. Yes, boy, the guy Carlos. He won his match again. He's number 1 in the world now. The guy from
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz, yes, still number 1. And this guy will take a lot of beating. He'll be taking from me. I find it will be difficult for anybody to beat this guy.
I don't think Aussie. I don't think
you can think of
Aussie.
Power, speed, finesse, agility, smart, everything. This guy is a complete player. He's only 20, 21 years old.
I don't say no, but let me tell you, the crop of young players I'm seeing there also, they're playing good. I'm telling that, they're not easier. The men, the top 20, I should say, or 30, on a given day.
Yeah. But I was pleased to see the guy called Raonic.
Yeah, back, I thought he had given up.
Yeah, from Canada. And he beat Tiafoe. Brilliant game it was.
Yeah.
To me, he has to be had his server right now in the game.
Yeah, after Berrettini.
Yes, but Berrettini also lost. All these top guys are just losing. Anyhow, it's an update. So we're looking forward to the next US Open Grand Slam. Can Novak come back to beat Alcaraz at that time, but that's in the future.
Yes.
Right. It's 7:30. We take a break. When we come back, we have
Cricket.
Cricket.
You know, White Blessing said, we off here?
No.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting weekly sports show.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth. Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Sports Wrap.
Yes, welcome back to Sports Wrap. We're on the home stretch right now with 7:34, and we have to look at cricket.
By the way, also, before we get to cricket, apparently the preaching in the States seemed to be lucrative. I don't know if you saw the video of Corbett being baptized.
I heard something.
Well, he had been baptized. He was baptized.
You have it there?
I have it there. He was baptized.
Well, that has to make news because Corbett was once the head of a political party, you know.
Yes.
Former bank manager, the big man. That's about the headline news.
Yes, and he seemed to, yes, because, you know, it's a lucrative business in the States.
Oh, yes.
So Corbett apparently is on his way to the preaching business, yeah, because he was baptized.
Guys like Joel Austin, these guys are very rich.
Take a look at Corbett being baptized. Julius Corbett, the former off-spinner.
Yes, I'm waiting to see him
taking his plunge.
I see some water moving there. Is he in the water?
Well, he's going to be put there. If you look at it properly, you see he's been put in the water.
Hey, that's Corbett. No, you make him out, man. Yes.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats. Yeah. Well, he did what Sparrow did. Sparrow got baptized about a year ago.
Yeah, Sparrow. But Corbett apparently he had aspirations to be a preacher.
Yeah, it's so.
Yeah, it's a lucrative business, I guess.
Yeah. No, you make him out, man.
Wrong the world, Sebastian.
What?
It's a business for religion. It's a big business.
He's happy. No, man.
Yeah, Julius Corbett, but our boy.
As visual proof of it, you know. called me, man.
I was even worried for him. I thought he wouldn't come back up when he went in the water.
I wasn't seeing anybody coming up. Kind of afraid for comment. Yeah, look at what now.
Yeah, and he's going in the water. If you look at him. Yeah. I was very worried for him.
Look now, he goes now.
He's taking the plunge.
Watch it. Let's pick him up now. Whee! Oh, big boy.
Nice.
That's great, man.
Yeah, Cobbett. Yeah, he's taking the plunge.
Great Julius Cobbett, man.
Yeah, so he had aspirations to be a preacher.
That's good, yes.
So he moved from a bank manager now to want to be a preacher.
Well, you can
He's the bank in the money now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's listening to us. Yeah,
I hope he could call us, man.
Yeah.
And tell us how he feels,
Yeah.
how the experience was like. Coming my personal friend, we have to talk, man.
Yeah, so that is why I just wanted to bring that in, that
Yes.
Cobbett is now wanting to be a preacher.
Well.
Well, all sorts of things happen in the world there.
Yes, yeah. Before I forget, I just want to say that yesterday I met the wife of Clem John, I haven't seen him for quite some time, Irene.
Yeah.
So I asked about
Clem.
I've been my friend for years, we cricketed together. So I happened to have run into her and just saying, well, he's not doing too well and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to just say hello to Clem John, especially in this program. I know he's listening and wish him all the best because whenever I remember Clem John, I remember that 177 he scored in 1960, the same Botanic Gardens. One of the most brilliant centuries ever seen in Dominica was that 177 by Clem John in the Gardens. And I was like a spectator batting with him at the other end.
Oh, you played in that game?
Yeah, I played in my debut.
Okay.
We had a partnership of about 80 runs. I only scored about 10,
Wow.
I was a spectator watching Clem John bat. And the quality is driving. He had a shot, the late cut, I'll never forget that. So I just bring it up, because but his wife knew very
and
well.
A brilliant footballer, Ozzy.
They mentioned my name some time ago when Cuthbert Williams died. So people like me would know who Cuthbert Williams was. You hear people talking about Cuthbert Williams.
Yep.
All the Bruce would know Cuthbert Williams. And he's quite right. Cuthbert Williams I knew when he was a kid. But Clem John himself, I grew up with Clem John. I mean, he's 2 or 3 years older than I am.
No.
But the Savannah, the Hall playing cricket, we played for Dominica, for Windward Islands. We roomed together. So, Clem, I want to wish you all the very best, man.
Ozzy also is a brilliant footballer.
All the very best. One of the greatest ever. Okay, I just felt I should mention that.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of people are listening. And another guy I saw too, yes, I used to look at sports for a long time. I see them again. I like to mention I've seen them. Plastic, famous.
Wilmoth
Libla. Also was a good cricketer,
Plastic played cricket?
Yeah.
Yep.
Trials and all in my time.
Oh, yeah?
Your goalkeeper.
I know him as a basketball player.
Famous guy.
By the basketball.
So I know Plastic very well. I've seen the guys he wants in a while.
Yes, Plastic look good. I mean, I see him all
Very
the time.
good. So when I see these guys I played with years ago, I feel so good seeing them. Or even when I go see them, seeing their wives, I see.
Yeah, I see Plastic all the time. Plastic looks good.
Yeah.
Plastic.
So I just felt I should mention.
In fact, I invited him to be on the program. Our program.
He's a bit
He had
shy.
promised he is shy. He promised to
he's
come,
shy, yeah.
and at the last moment, he called me and told me he does like Irvin Benoit. I've asked
Irvin
him.
Benoit, one of the greatest footballers. I've asked him to come on this program numerous times.
Herminus Emmanuel as well.
Herminus Emmanuel. These guys are shy. These brilliant players from Newtown. So.
Ozzy.
Well, this one is not a player, but Mr. Barry.
Oh, is he?
Well, he had surgery yesterday.
So he's in the hospital.
Yes, he was. Here.
Which ward is that? You need to consider.
In Alford Ward, and I think he was amputated, I believe.
You serious?
I think so. Because he told me I was going to go to Barbados.
No, but he's here.
Which leg?
It was done here.
I feel a toe.
No, the leg.
Leg itself?
Yes.
His leg?
Yes.
Whoa. But Barry told me that they said his toe, he said nothing doing.
Yes.
And his son or his daughter had booked some assignment in Barbados to see a specialist. And he was going to go into
I spoke to him minutes before he was to go under the knife.
A couple of days ago?
that was yesterday. Yesterday.
So you
Yes.
need here.
Yes. I spoke
That's
to him.
tough,
I
man.
spoke to him
What?
at the hospital, and he told me he was going to go under the knife, just in a few minutes' time after our conversation.
And
So I have not spoken to him since, but I think it must have gone through.
because he told me he was going to go to Barbados and so on, that somebody could fix up his toe for him without going through amputation.
Yeah, but
So I'm
it
shocked
seems,
to hear
because he told me that the pain was unbearable, and at the end of the time, the doctors he agreed with doctors that was probably the best course to take.
He lost a toe.
So,
Wow,
This is the François Barry. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that news, man.
That's bad news, man.
Bad news.
What he lost
But I
a toe?
wonder sometimes so they couldn't do anything else. Wow.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Now, if there was an option in Barbados, and now
Yeah, he had told me he was going to go to Barbados because
probably
they
the
told
options,
him
yes,
they could do it in
models,
Barbados.
yes, yeah.
His son or his daughter was arranging for him to see a specialist in Barbados, and he was leaving Dominica. That's just last week we
Okay.
spoke.
Oh, it's unfortunate. Yeah.
So he did not go to Barbados again.
But he did not go to Barbados.
Well, he told me
and,
they wanted to cut his toe here, and he said, "No way, he's not cutting his toe." And his daughter or his son made arrangements for him to see a specialist in Barbados, where they told him they could do something for him to avoid amputation. And now I'm hearing he lost his leg.
Yeah. I mean, he was good on the knife. So, as I said, I've not spoken to him since the operation. I spoke to him like just minutes before he was to go under the operating knife, and that's what he indicated.
What has he lost? A
That's
toe
sorry,
or his leg?
Sorry to hear that. Very, very deeply sorry to hear that.
Tough. This is tough. That's shocking news to me.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear at all.
I thought he was in Barbados recuperating. I didn't know that I wanted to hear. But it was yesterday you saw him. Yesterday.
Yes.
Well,
Because
You actually saw
yesterday
him
morning.
or-
No, I
or
spoke.
spoke to him?
I spoke to him on the phone. Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
And
He
he
was
said he's
being
going to go on the
prepped.
knife.
He was going on the knife. He told me, he was going to go on the knife. We had a very nice conversation.
Yesterday.
But he said he was going on.
Well, it's not an easy discussion to have, and to know you're going to go through that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So all along he must have been pains there. And
But he appeared resigned to it when I spoke to him. Like he had already made peace with that particular thing, and but he said the pain really was unbearable, and that was his decision. The pain was just too much for him to bear, and that was the way out.
well, boy.
it's something else.
I'm surprised. I really thought he had gone to Barbados and he was recovering from. So they had some surgeon in Barbados, somebody in Barbados, some tech specialist could take care of business. To
I wonder sometimes if you
avoid amputation.
I wonder sometimes second opinions could be useful. I wonder if he couldn't have waited, or I don't know.
Pain, when the pain becomes unbearable.
It's going to be knife, Well, that's it. The time is 7:43. Guys, cricket. The West Indies for a change is on.
Well, 200, they did 200 to 220.
You hoped and prayed that they would get the 3-0, but it just was not to be.
Well, they demolished the third one.
Indian. I know, but
they lost the third one badly.
But I guess that's what being a championship team is. You fight back and you come back and stamp your authority, and that's exactly what India did. India was like they put their best players forward, and they were not going to take any chances. I mean.
Well, West Indies can still win this series. There are 2 matches to go this weekend.
2 matches to go this weekend.
Saturday and Sunday.
I don't think India has very much to offer now in 2020.
Well, I still find it. Look at the young players they have here. They're experimenting.
They have got one class fast bowler.
But remember, Siraj is not there. Bumrah is not there.
Yes.
Shami is not there.
Yeah.
The Mukesh fella.
Yeah.
Where did get this guy from? Never thought this guy.
Well, I guess they're experimenting.
But he's about 30 years old, isn't that so?
Yeah.
And I don't see any potential in this guy.
They're not experimenting.
They're experimenting, but they have exceptionally good spinners. I mean, India continues to manufacture.
And the match where India were fighting back, where it was collapsing. Had they gone, I would have gone to spin. I would have gone to
that's why he made a mistake. He should have used Shahar. He went with Ashdeep Singh. Yeah.
Ashdeep and Mukesh.
Yeah, that was an error by the
Case
captain.
of the ball, easy to get. Till it bam, score the runs quickly, no time. bad captaincy.
But Puran has been in good form, tremendous form, and they're now saying he may be one of the better players of spin, even better than some of the Indian batters. The way he plays spin, with Simpson.
But I thought Rohit and will still be playing 2020.
Well, he and what's his name?
Kohli, yes.
Well, they're preparing for the Asian Cup, which starts later this month.
And then in 40, how many days?
Well, they will probably have the full team then for the World Cup.
Yeah.
By the way, we have a call. Australia named their team for the World Cup. Did you see it?
No.
Good night.
No, we've gotten to that.
Hello.
Australia named the team for the
World Cup.
50 overs World Cup.
Because all teams have to be in by September 5th, by the way.
When does the World Cup start?
October the 6th. They left out Labuschagne from their team.
I wouldn't pick Labuschagne.
Yeah, they left him out. We have a caller. Good night. Hello? Yeah, they left him out of the 15. Of the 18.
Labuschagne scored 5 runs in about 88 balls in at that time. I mean, he was playing that for dead.
We have a caller. Let's take the caller. Good night.
3 batsmen.
Fantastic test play, but probably not for the white ball.
Good night. We have a caller. Good night.
Hello?
Yeah, good night.
Yes.
Hey, what's up?
Lobby.
Hey, good night.
Yes, good night.
I don't know. I was trying to call earlier on when you guys had the general, so I don't know. My comment might be too late. But Ozzy and Steve-O, last week, especially what I like when you saw Sir Louis there. Yeah, moving forward.
No,
you guys
say the bad thing, It's so Dennis Byron. Next thing say, no, call me Sir Louis, Mr. Louis. Ozzy. Yeah, go ahead. I don't any sir at all. Byron has done a disgrace to the name, the appellation sir.
It becomes poignant.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
I'm saying, I often say, Byron has done a disgrace to sir. I'm saying so loud and clear. I've said so. You heard me? I'm saying it clear. I often say, Dennis Byron, you're bloody shame. And I want to say it. Shucks. No pussyfooting around, man. People still call him the legal luminary, the hell luminary. You're bloody disgrace, man. I can't stand nonsense, Lobby.
I agree with you.
I don't care who you are.
I concur with you, Ozzy.
I to your face, I'll tell you nonsense. You can't touch me.
Got to maintain.
I get real vexed at times. So what? The man that is disgrace. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, but last week, Ozzy, you and Sibo really rocked my boat with your commentary on the botanical garden, and I really, and I don't know. I think it. I don't know what your thing is. I know you don't like getting involved, but I think a public information, campaign might be a good route, and I hope, if that happens, that guys like you and Steve can do an announcement, because your presentation last week was very touching, and I think it could reach a lot of people with that kind of real emotional aspect to what that place means to you. So, and I think there might be a whole lot of other people.
But not only to us, that place means a lot to a lot of people. To a lot of people.
Yeah. See, presently, in the vanguard of that. Don't worry about it. We'll take it on.
Yeah, a lot of people. That place means to them. A lot.
A lot of people. Yes. Go ahead, Zed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, but it's a conversation we need to continue. The garden thing, we need to continue a conversation.
Yes.
So
we have another caller.
The Australia squad.
Good night.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, how are you, man?
Last week, former great all-rounder, former Pakistan captain, former president of Imran Khan was jailed for 3 years.
He was jailed?
Yes.
The problem is that we haven't even heard anything since then. We don't know if he's alive. You hear nothing from Pakistan.
I saw him on TV the other night. Hard talk. Being interviewed.
Yes. He was arrested and jailed for 3 years for selling state gifts.
That's what they said.
Not disclosing the money.
Man, they can do anything in Pakistan.
Oh, yeah.
You know this country, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, and you know, if it's a bogus charge,
they can fabricate things on Imran Khan to discredit him all the time. That's all.
Yeah. So now he's serving 3 years for not selling state gifts and not disclosing.
Well, that's what they claim. That's what they claim.
They claim, and they just put it, they fabricate this thing.
Yeah, the problem with Pakistan is the military, you know, the very powerful
And
military.
nobody knows, in fact, not even if lawyers can see him to have a discussion with him. Nobody knows where he is. In fact, they have arrested several of his supporters as well. Several of them have been arrested.
Imran Khan, but he was good, very good still, man.
Very good.
I saw him in hot talk talking to this guy.
In fact, in the same hot talk, Stephen Saka was asking him about his kids. Yeah. If you don't think the kid want him to get out of the politics, he said, no, he has to fight for his people. Yeah. You have to fight.
Why Stephen Saka is hard to, you know.
He's very hard. He really
questions.
Tough question.
But you, Imran, how's Imran going, man?
But Imran, you know, is an Oxford trained guy, a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
So
he's a brilliant fella.
Yeah, bright man.
I love Imran Khan, boy.
Right. I have a question for you, Sebastian. Yeah. A question. We have this thing going on in the Caribbean, rising stars. Have you seen any genuine rising star?
You mean, well, it's finished now. The under 19, Jamaica won both the 3 day and 1 day.
No, yes, but is there any genuine rising fast bowler? I'm talking about.
But that's the problem in the Caribbean. Fast bowler. In fact, as you ask a question about fast bowler, they brought in Ocean Thomas in the squad. If he had to play a game, I don't understand. Yeah, if he had to play a game. But you don't see any young promising, and also spin bowlers as well. The Caribbean, you don't see any wrist spinner.
No, we don't have a wrist spinner.
We're struggling in that.
What his name is?
Yeah, Nick Caraya. In his 30s.
But also, gentlemen, if they would develop, there must be, look, around the world, they go about having bowling camps, they have this, they have that, to develop sportsmen and women from a tender age. I can't understand at all. What have we done to bring go around, looking and see, shopping around, look at the aisle, what can be done? I mean, see, when we were strong with bat and ball.
Yeah.
With bat and ball.
It requires a complete study, because when you think about the fact that when you look at India, for example, this constant bleeding of new talent, all of these kids you just see all of these guys just coming up, and then for the West Indies, they're really struggling to get this kind of talent and to identify the talent. And
well, you're right. We need a complete study in the West Indies cricket, really.
Yeah.
But there's something else,
but
decline.
But you see,
and a rapid decline too.
You have to think of some of the greatest cricketers who ever walked this earth to that kind of mediocrity now. You cannot, people like my age can't understand that this team can be called the West Indies. We have West Indies of the 1950s and 60s and 70s and 80s. I mean, even they won the world champions with their 4-pronged attack. They're still one of the top 3 teams in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play the West Indies.
But Holden did a very nice, I said, a very nice promo for the West Indies going to Australia.
So small. West Indies know me, they're very small. So the captain, a very small.
Petite man, that's petite.
Some of the guys are so small.
But it's true.
What is the name of the guy? What is his name?
Joe Blackwood.
Alec
is small as well. Alec.
Vice captain Alec, yes.
Yes, Alec, But you see, Ozzy, you speak about.
You're not a very tall fellow. You have some size.
But you're right. Look at the player. The shoulders.
Yes.
Small. When you look at Richard's shoulders.
Yeah, even Urban Schilling was short.
But of course.
Tough, you could see a solid piece of man. But some of these guys are just frail.
It's true. But was you're right? I've been saying right along this one.
So
wrong. They look
we have just five minutes.
Yeah,
the World Cup squad, Australia.
They, off my head, most of the guys are still there. Most of the guys,
but
they left from Labuschagne.
Labuschagne has been left out. They are not bringing in 2 young stars, Aaron Hardy and Tanvir Sankar.
I've heard his name.
Yeah, these are the two young guys they've brought in. But when you look at the Australian team, it does not cause you any shivers.
No, it's the same guys, the same people. It's only Labuschagne that have been left out.
Yeah. But Zampa, Warner, Stoinis, Steve Smith, Stark.
Number 3 batsman in tests. He's too slow, boy.
Very
ultra slow, man.
And then to have him and Smith, two of them.
He and Smith batting together.
3 and 4.
Then you have the left-hand opener, Usman Khawaja.
Yeah, so imagine that.
My God, that is boring cricket, man. I'm telling you flat.
They need to get some basketball. Need to get some basketball going.
Man. When the head comes, then you get some batting.
But Australia is the record winner. They've won the World Cup 5 times.
Most times, yeah, that's true.
5 times. But the last one in 2015. So it's been a while, not a while. Two World Cups.
True. Australia won in 2015.
Yeah, that was the last time they won.
When they played in New Zealand. Yeah.
Well, Williamson might be able to play in the World Cup. He might be back. After that.
So Australia is the only team not in the team for the World Cup.
Yeah, but all teams have to be in by September the 9th. All teams.
September the 9th.
All teams.
West Indies have named the team already, haven't they?
West Indies are not in the World Cup.
So the West Indies cannot play in a World Cup.
Oh, man.
In which they won the first World Cup. They won the second World Cup. They almost won the third World Cup. They lost in the final.
But that was 50 years ago. It's been a long time. 50 years.
Well.
79.
And in the World Cup in 2019, we were disgraced as well.
Yes. We barely escaped because the same thing. We had to be fighting our way with the
But we
minions.
got there, but in England we were poor.
Yeah.
With all these guys they brought in there, was a waste of time.
The last World Cup.
The World Cup in England.
So I don't know, something about the selection of those teams, of the West Indies teams. I just think there's a lot to be desired.
Preparation, gentlemen. We are not preparing properly. Dr. Fontaine, we are not preparing. Pakistan. I could remember meeting a Pakistan in England, and he told me, I think they won this thing in Pakistan, this competition in England. He told me the army took over the preparation of the team, the physical fitness of the team. That is key. We had our players before were very fit. Richard led by example.
Yeah. So, a lot of issues to look at, a lot of, the state of preparedness, but to not make the World Cup, in one day.
I'm not surprised.
And a whole month of cricket, you can't watch West Indies.
West Indies not making the World Cup. The first ever win champions of the World Cup, not able to qualify to play in the World Cup. Man, it shows the decline in West Indies cricket.
But what's worse, you have some Indians calling now for West Indies to not even be a test nation.
Well, I don't agree.
This is some very prominent. I can't remember the name. One of the Indian former Indian players said, "Well, probably now might be a time to consider." But no, I never agree with
that because when we demolished teams for 60, 70 years,
yes.
we were whitewashing teams home and away.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody said they should not have been playing.
Exactly.
So that's to me that's foolishness.
It's true.
For drastically like the West Indies.
And for so long.
South Africa went through a little phase once. In Australia for 1 or 2 years, but not that prolonged
period.
And to
I
that
think
extent,
that is what is.
The West Indies cricket. I
see CPL start next Wednesday. By the way, in the Caribbean,
you had people like Garfield, Sobers, Wicks, Warren, Walcott, Canhide,
too many to come.
Hall, Griffith, Sobers.
But Ozzy, you're going back in time. Look at our regional tournament. Look at Sebastian and the crew.
Yeah.
What we had. Look at the rest of players. Look, you had this guy died there. Otto died recently there.
Yeah.
That was a test player. He never made a test team.
Yeah.
You had Jim Allen.
Never
go back in time.
You'd walk into a test team now without trouble.
Somebody's asking what is Hope doing on the bench. Somebody's asking.
I know.
Hope to
but
me.
Johnson Charles to me.
But shouldn't Hope be playing team?
Before Johnson Charles.
After all, man.
Johnson Charles to
Even
me.
though Hope has lost his form, it's still better than Johnson.
No, Johnson Charles shouldn't be.
But I still maintain Hope should be playing
Test cricket. Of course.
Hope should be playing Test cricket.
Hope scored twin centuries in a test match in England.
In England.
In Headingley. Twin centuries,
Somebody decided that
Why
Hope should no longer play Test cricket, and I find that is
No, but this is
atrocious.
the problem in the Caribbean. We do not have enough players to favor people in different formats. To say that one is a white ball.
We don't
have the players.
Personnel for that.
No, we don't have the
But
players.
what really happened to him? What really happened to him, though?
Hope went declined a bit, but not to be discarded
Discarded.
like that. And they're picking guys who can't tie Hope's shoes,
Like Johnson Charles.
like
Yeah.
Johnson Charles.
Well, also we have been given a sign by the producer that we must quit now. It's time to get out of here.
The inimitable Lambert
he's
Charles,
telling us
man,
now we
has
have
told
to
us
get out.
time up.
For the next program, the
Workers' voice. So this is Ozzy Lewis on behalf of Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Lockhart Sebastian, and we had a couple of guests from the Basketball Association. Lobby, our good friend Manuel Loblack, are now in the Big Apple, and Shan around the DJ Shan, and Lambert Charles, the inimitable Lambert Charles. I say good evening, Ozzy Lewis saying good evening until next Thursday at the same time for more Sports Wrap. Thanks for listening and good night.